Hello, people. Two of you, I think, only. Um, I came from the Cotto and Gottfried um, show, and it featured a psychologist. That was where I got the idea. I wasn't ready to go to bed yet, so I thought I'd come and help you guys deal with your mental health issues. I've noticed that their viewers are really quite low. I think about 7 or 8. So I guess I don't need to feel so bad about how disastrously low, as some people have been saying, that my viewership has been. So that was actually kind of worth staying up for. So that was the nice thing that happened today. The other nice thing was that I actually had quite a nice interview, or I enjoyed it, even though most of you must have found it very dull, because it was about theological matters of the respective Abrahamic faiths. But I was pleased with that in my own little way. I was also pleased that somebody who didn't actually comment on the chat said that it was interesting. So I take great comfort in that. One of the things I've noticed, of course, is the deliberate suppression of YouTube of our viewing figures, presumably to demoralize and dismay us. But let us not be dismayed. Let us just carry on, because it's only a matter of time. If you keep talking and talking and talking, and eventually, your viewership will go up, even though it says only one person watching now. I have found on Hello Erica, I have found that sometimes if I just stream and talk and talk and talk and talk, Church of Entropy might grace my stream with her abusive comments. Hello Cookies 2050. Do you have any mental health issues that have arisen since your confinement, your curfew, your lockdown? Or are you managing to enjoy it? I'm afraid I'm one of those people. Well, am I afraid? No. Am I proud? I don't know. But anyway, there was this cute little meme going around of a sort of embarrassed looking monkey saying, I didn't know that my lifestyle was called quarantine. So it hasn't been too bad, actually. I felt I lost a bit of weight today. I've been managing to eat okay. I kind of tried, I'd had all the other foods, and I thought, well, I want fresh vegetables and apple and fruit, and I managed that. And then once I got that, I didn't feel like eating them. You just want certain things in the home, and hope that you just sort of feel you're more of a person if you have certain things, and with none of it at all. But I am kind of running out of rice and pasta, but there are a few substitutes I could have. So, and also, somebody was asking me today if on Ask FM, so people go to Ask FM to ask me questions there. If I had enough food, and I said if I could survive for a whole month, and I thought, yeah, I could. I could if I wanted to, if I properly rationed myself. Um, anyway, it takes about 2 weeks to starve yourself to death, doesn't it? So I'm not too worried, and it does make shopping more of an adventure. Um, and because I kind of make a point of not going in the not going to during the day, I do miss out the worst of it. I've had reports saying, "Did you see the queues?" And I thought, I don't want to see them. I don't want to go to the shops and see queues. I can, just get it on a theoretical level of other people standing in queues and watching seeing these queues, but I don't want to stand in them, and I don't want to maybe social distancing. You just become more conscious of these things. I do wash my hands more often now, and there was even barriers at my local um, little supermarket, so you couldn't, really go close to the person, and you kind of have to reach out to put all your stuff in the, so they can put it in the till, and that's just a sort of barrier thing. So yeah, that's quite noticeable, I suppose, and uh, is it causing anyone mental health issues? Are you lot all right? Well, I was saying Cookies 2050 that there might be a spate of domestic violence and probably domestic accidents. So, but then there'll be lots of people who just love it. So, ooh, it's so quiet. I have the street to myself, and so we should just ask ourselves if we have the capacity of flexible thinking that allows us to actually take pleasure in the unexpected. Perhaps we now long for busy streets, whereas before we would think, oh, how annoying, how noisy. Why don't people stay at home? Why do they have to go in their pointless busyness? So, um, unless we're suffering, great discomfort, you know, missed, cancelled hospital appointments causing anxiety and stress, perhaps, and um, we could, I suppose, enjoy it and reflect on our lives. I think that's kind of necessary to, well, wonder where we are all going. Cookies 2050, many, many women will finally get to see the man that knocked them up for who they really are. I think they already know, don't they? And any woman would be foolish indeed to think they're going to get any better. I mean, the advice would be this would apply to jobs, like if you hate your job, don't just quit it. Make sure you have another one to go to before you quit your current job. And for most people, most married couples, it's not so easy to disentangle yourself from children and spouse, and the female friends I've had who've had divorces don't seem to have done better in the selection of their second husband. There's always a bit more lower class, a bit less good looking, with less of a career than the first one. So better the devil you know, perhaps. Yes, we will get an economic crash, but even that contains a silver lining, because the idea. I do hope you've listened to my stream earlier today with Kashif Shahzada of Pakistan. I thought it was quite interesting, and I hope when you do listen, you will put your comments on and ask questions or something. You can ask me questions anytime now on Ask FM. So please do. There's just such a flood of stupid questions that you do despair. And I really do want you guys to, come over there and ask me questions, and you can have fun with each other doing that. I'll think of games for us all to play. So please do come over. I'm really sick of these, it's mostly women there at the moment with their dating problems, and I don't know. It's a little depressing being on there. Now, do any of you have a problem I can actually deal with? I mean, surely you must have some mental health issue that you want to raise with me. And perhaps you'd like to tell me whether you've perceived anything to be a little different in the past few days, apart from suppressed viewing figures. I think that they've kind of I mean, that they've taken away three-quarters of the pre COVID lockdown viewing figures, it seems. But it doesn't matter as long as, it's like the same people are still here, and so many people come over to me, so I'm happy about that. Has anyone seen? Well, okay. The notifications seem to be a little slower. People don't seem to be streaming quite as much. I don't know where OV has gone, and um, Eke, does he still stream? I don't know. How do you get your husband to stop smoking so much in the house? Oh, that's a bit annoying, isn't it? You could make him go outside to smoke. Or maybe just thinking of ways of getting him to do it less might, I don't know, might work. Some sort of, wouldn't you like to go outside to smoke instead? Well, I don't know, just, and you regard it as such an achievement if you managed that, wouldn't you? Yeah, I mean, I thought we'd be busier and more people would be watching, but it seems that the opposite has happened. Oh, AK streams on D Live now. Well, why go there? But then the AK doesn't really. I just find him very depressing. I mean, I guess the good bit would be the music that sometimes I would like, but it's just the same old, and this sort of passive aggressive. Um, I mean, I think if we have a message, we should stay on the biggest platform, and YouTube is the biggest platform, and I think we are still able to say what we want to say within reason on YouTube. So I'm really happy with the functionalities of YouTube. I particularly like the Premiere facility, which it's good. You sometimes you can't go live. You record a Skype conversation as I did today, and then you convert it to for YouTube, and then you kind of you're able to do it live, and I think that's quite nice. Yes, Eke is certainly displaying mental health issues. Way, I mean, well, since I knew him, really. Yes, it is very sad that the West doesn't have a responsible media. Tom Anderson. Uh, okay, one of the good things about all this nonsense is that more and more people will discover how unfit for purpose all the important institutions of state are. And it's necessary for people to know that, in a wider, deeper level of how unfit for purpose it is. In good times we can fight, excuse me, we can hide all kinds of defects, but this is the cold light of day. This is, in a way, a kind of national emergency. And Kevin was quite good today talking about what's his name? This guy called Reid, an MP who was one of the few who protested against the insane policy of Trudeau saying to MPs, don't come to Parliament, don't worry about scrutinising legislation, just don't bother. We'll just pass it anyway, don't you worry about it. And there was his Reid person that, stuck to his guns and wouldn't go away, and now he's the Canadian national hero. I think that's the gist of the story. What's wrong with whom? You know, people in a chat, I know you'll think I'm some pernickety old school mistress, but when you post your comments, you should try using subject and verb so it's a proper sentence, so I know what the hell you're talking about. And maybe you want to know what the hell you're talking about too. And it's just a little bit sad that all I get are sort of disjointed phrases, um, and it creates a bad impression, I guess, on anybody watching. Oh, hello, Jen. How nice to see you. I knew if I kept talking and talking, you'll eventually turn up. So nice to see you. Erica says, yes, Claire's mental health issues. Did you quarrel with Eke, Jen? You quarrel with everybody, don't you? But anyway, I feel that I will eventually I'm closer to being vindicated on the position I've taken about COVID right from the beginning, which is the herd immunity strategy. I mean, today I was talking to somebody on Facebook. Obviously, nowadays you kind of you're more asking after people's health, and so I asked him, this Facebook friend of mine, and so of course I was going on about my herd immunity, and he said, "Oh, well, from that, um, even okay, so 60% of us get it, and some of us die, 2% mortality." And he said, "Well, it could uh, well, 1 million could die in the UK." And I thought, well, we've got 66 already, so we'll just be 65 million. I mean, really, what's the problem? So, and then I didn't hear from him. So I think I might have upset him because he was saying, "Oh, a bit shocked and stuff." Well, the streets are eerie, and touch wood, so far I haven't had any unpleasant experiences, and people have been all right. Jenny, gonna join me? Can you ask me, can you just at least pretend you have some mental health issue so I can deal with it, please, guys and girls? So, Judge of Entropy says, who needs markets when you have slave labor? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I thought we were agreed, weren't we, darling, about reintroducing slavery? Weren't we? I'm sure I can dig up some streams of us with you saying that. Why do you say there's no herd immunity for COVID, Erica? Yes, Tom Anderson says Westerners are too atomized, too obsessed with rights and freedoms, and quite frankly, too stupid to carry out large scale projects. Well, we don't know if China's out of the woods yet, you know. They're going back to work. I think gradually they're going back to work. The school's going back in April. So, you know, if anything bad is going to happen, it's going to happen when, you know, everybody goes back. And I think they'll have a different reaction. You know, if I were the Chinese government and said, well, it's too bad, we'll just have to deal with it. And people are going to die. We'll just, and, you know, I think they will have sorted out their corpse disposal facilities, shall we say. So really, that's the only problem. You know, I think I've kind of evolved a few ideas in the last week or so. It's, you know, I've kind of ranked the prioritization of medical services to, you know, groups of people, and you know, and you know, proposed to whom it shall be withheld if there's a shortage. You know, and really in practice, you're just going to say to anybody, it's like, if you've got it, just stay home, you know, pray. Well, we can't really do anything. Hopefully the people around you will have immunity, but really, that's the only way to go for it. That's it. So there's no need to overwhelm, you know, the facilities at all. I mean, if we sort of dealt with it in a more calmly, instead of wearing gloves and blah blah, you know, it's like there's a lot of people that would not be missed. Jen blocks everybody, doesn't she, Erica? Yeah, I do think most people are crazy, and it's coming up now. Yeah. Tom Ann says that they're talking about using a random lottery to determine who gets a ventilator in America. That's far more dystopian than saying priority to the young and healthy. You know what I think would really help. This is what I do if I were given the job of, you know, managing the message. Um, well, I would just consult everybody. So there'd be, you know, all these groups. I mean, I've proposed to divide them into 5 groups, kind of like the Hindu caste system, and ask them, you know, like, do you want to go to work, or you want to, you know, carry on being quarantined and take your chances? And they'll probably say, well, take our chances. It's just so stupid. And that is what, in the end, people will say. I know it. I know it. It's almost, it's so frustrating. You know, it's like, but who do I tell? Who would I tell this brilliant idea to? Nobody listens to me. Only 8 people are watching me now. Jen, why do people harass you? Because you're so harassable? Because you say such outrageous things that nobody, or very few people who know how outrageous they are can allow it to rest. And this China thing, I really think that in a way, okay, you can blame China, but then China can say, okay, this is my narrative for it. It's like China, after all these decades of the West being mean about the Chinese, like, oh, you have a terrible human rights record. You don't care about your people. You treat them like ants. Nya, 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 nya. And then finally, it's like they probably thought that this virus going around. We're going to show these Westerners how much we care about our people, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to lock down the country. We're going to do all these things to contain the virus, and it'll be an interesting experiment, and we'll do it, and then we'll show off to these disgusting racist Westerners who always go on about our human rights records, of how much the Chinese government cares about its people, and that's why they did all that. And of course, it would spread because inevitably such a thing would spread, and then the Westerners, the Western governments, are kind of bounced into taking all these extraordinary measures because they said China didn't care, and now that China showed how much it cared, they were all bounced into competing with China to show how much they too cared about their people. But their people hate them and don't trust them, and they'll end up destroying their own economies. But the silver lining in that, of course, is that Western civilization as we know it will soon end. There will be economic collapse and financial collapse, and then it will be replaced by secular Quranism. Of course it would. The West has lost its reason and is perhaps lying on its sickbed, incoherent, with fever. But when it awakens and regains its senses, it will awaken Muslim. What else? What else could happen? In the best case scenario, of course, it could just die. But of course, not all of us will die of COVID, even if maybe a third of Europeans died in the bubonic plague. I think it was 60 million or something ridiculous like that. But the thing is, it didn't matter. That's the whole thing. I'll have to revisit that Wikipedia entry. Black Death. It's like it doesn't even matter where it came from, because it's like, oh, did it come from Central Asia, or it didn't matter. And even the Spanish flu didn't really come from Spain. Nobody, because there's a history behind it. If you check up the History Today entry, you might be forgiven for thinking that the Spanish flu really came from Kansas. But epidemiologists will say, well, these things do happen every 100 years to, kind of spring clean the human race. And of course, this is now a time, as we are all a little more afraid now, to re-examine our lives. Some of us would just be examining it for the first time, about what it's for and what we've done, what we're going to do, what we would do if we live through it. Okay, the estimate is 30 to 60%. The Black Death is estimated to have killed 30 to 60% of Europe's population. In total, the plague may have reduced the world population from an estimated 475 million to 350 to 375 million in the 14th century. It took 200 years for Europe's population to recover to its previous level, and some regions, such as Florence, only recovered by the 19th century. The plague recurred as outbreaks until earlier, the early 20th century. Yeah, but look, so many people died, 30 to 60, all gone. But you went on to achieve great things. You took over the world. So, from a civilizational point of view, it was nothing really. It's interesting how Korean man. Always so much information. Jen says Claire's system was inspired by her own desire to have the most lax and corrupt laws possible so she could get away with the most degeneracy. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I hope you'll get on and tell me exactly what you mean. Jen's system minimizes slavery, but Claire's maximizes it. I don't know what that means either. Claire's plan is to consult the Hindu class system without realizing Brahmins make all statecraft decisions, and she would not be needed at all. Well, I'm not adopting the whole Hindu caste system, am I? I'm just saying we'll just divide the social classes into 5. That's a real fear here, that you are utterly useless and at best a nuisance. I'm the only one that actually has a viable and religiously and morally respectable system. I wonder why Mr. Jones doesn't think my voice is my real voice. Mr. Jones says secular Quranism was and is a joke of love entertainment. Not really. I'm taking it seriously. People do know it's another school of Sharia. Did you people have any kind of immediate emotional reaction to COVID in the early days? I mean, I noticed I just got meaner. I just felt I had to say things to people, like, really give them a piece of my mind because they've been annoying me for so long. No, I'm not vaping, Tom Anderson. I don't vape. I don't smoke anymore. Jen, are you coming on? Are you coming on? I'm running out of things to say now. You're being really You're not being at all helpful. Okay, you're just talking to each other. You're not even responding to what I'm saying. Okay, Well, I'm going to go now because I want to hear this thing about shadow banning on Cotto and Gottfried. So I'm off. Bye bye. Boring people.